morning on the 401 near Newcastle, dozens of vehicles crashed into each other after whiteout conditions caused poor visibility during rush hour. Today, another round of bad weather. Commuters had to deal with a few hours of heavy snow this morning before it changed over to freezing rain early this afternoon. Police say it's simple. If you do have to go out, plan ahead and slow down.
The posted speed limits are maximum posted limits for optimum road conditions. So a 50 kilometer an hour zone, which is for the most part in our city, that doesn't mean 50 kilometers in the conditions that we're experiencing today.
It's also important to be aware of your surroundings.
Basically what we're trying to always do, but especially in instances like this, is look as far ahead as we can.
When the roads get bad, driving instructors say it's important to go easy on the brakes to avoid sliding.
One of the reflexes, probably in general, but especially for maybe a newer driver, is in instances like this, if they feel like something is going wrong, they will be a little bit too harsh with their braking.
During Friday night's pileup, motorists were stranded on the 401 for several hours. Police say it's important to keep an emergency kit in case you get stuck.
For winter conditions, keep an extra blanket in case you're stopped for long periods of time. Maybe a little bit of granola bars, something to eat, flashlight, batteries, booster cables. Make sure before you leave that your car's windshield washer fluid reservoir is filled.
When weather conditions deteriorate, police say if you don't have to go out, stay home. Mark June to CHEX Newswatch, Peterborough.
Michelle Ferrari.
Oh, I don't think I did hand over hand there. Hi everyone, welcome to the 5 o'clock show. I'm Michelle Ferrari, and yes, I am driving the 5 o'clock car. This is an unheard of event. For those of you who know us well, our cameraman Kevin Wheeler never lets this happen, but he has no choice today because we are doing driving tips. Yes, we're going to catch up with Kevin Cobourg of Peterborough Driving School. Now, a lot of folks think that a driving school is for the new driver, the young driver. Not necessarily. Kevin and his wife and child try to cater to everybody, especially those who need to get re-licensed. So seniors, I mean, they have to do testing regularly. So he's going to provide us with some tips. If you think you are someone that wants to get some more in-class or on-the-road tips, you can check him out too, peterboroughdrivingschool.ca. Also on this show, we're going to check out the vehicle and we are going to go on the road. And you're going to get in the car with me, Kevin. Are you excited? And I'm going to drive the car forever after this. Yes, it's true. All right, let's see what's lining up with Newswatch first at 5:30.
Thanks, Michelle. Coming up tonight, if your vehicle is due for an emissions test, this is something you need to hear. New testing standards that came into effect January 1st are resulting in more failed tests. Mark Junto will have the story. The big thaw, today's record-breaking temperatures are resulting in a big mess out there. Mike Judson will have all the details. And it's all the buzz today. BlackBerry unveils its new generation.
The Newswatch, the 5 o'clock show, Jeep Patriot car is ready for the road, I think. Not sure yet. This is Kevin. Kevin is from Peterborough Driving School. Kevin, how do you get to be a driving instructor?
Any driving instructor that is going to be ministry approved, which is kind of an important factor, goes through a program. The particular program that I took, I went up and basically it was a Monday to Friday thing for 1 month, sort of 8:30 till 5 o'clock in the morning, where primarily we're in class doing theory for the first part, and then we do spend some time, approximately 20 to 25 hours in car, just getting a feel for what it'd be like to actually teach someone.
So you're not a race car driver?
Definitely not. It has nothing to do with that. If anything, we also, before you can ever become a driving instructor and sign up for the course, ministry will take a look. There's an initiation fee of $95. You sign up for that. They're going to check your driving record and that sort of stuff. And if you have anything on the driving record, they're basically going to say, sorry, we're not even going to let you sign up for the course.
I don't think I can be a driving instructor then. Okay, so this is before we hit the road. What a great day to come out and get some tips on winter driving. Before we get in the vehicle, you often encourage your clients to check their vehicle over before they hit the road.
Yeah, just in general, what we're looking for, things like, are the tires, do they look like they're in good shape?
These are not winter tires, I don't think.
Well, and again, I don't get into that debate too much. It's a personal preference. It's not a law in Ontario as of yet. it isn't something that has to happen. It depends a little bit what kind of driving potentially you're doing too, as well, Michelle.
So we've checked the tires. What else should we check before we get in?
Basically, what we're looking for: any fluid leaks, anything that doesn't look right.
So I got to get down on the ground?
Well, potentially just a little bit of exercise. I saw you yesterday.
All right. It looks fine. This is my favorite.
Yeah, a day like today, make sure that those are cleaned off. As
Don't
well
do
as
this. which is-
Michelle's done a great job of cleaning off the whole vehicle.
Yeah, I did that. Yeah, that's me.
That's really important so that our view doesn't get obstructed. But also so that we don't. Yeah, headlights, so that you're getting proper view.
Okay.
Okay. Any sort, like again, a day like today, are our mirrors okay?
Right. Because normally you should scrape that off with all the freezing rain and stuff we've had. Like
Well, that part's kind of tough on a day like today. It's mostly that your mirror is clear, and also that it's going to move around because it can get frozen.
Oh, okay. Are you ready to get into the passenger side with me?
Absolutely.
He's brave. All right, stay with us. More ahead on the 5 o'clock show, winter driving tips with Kevin Cobourg and the Peterborough Driving School. You have to get in too, Kevin. I know you're scared. I'm not allowed to drive this car, so this is really exciting.
Michelle, I do think we need to turn down the radio so we can concentrate properly.
Really?
Well, it's a very good idea. We really can focus. It's a form of distracted driving, actually.
Wow. Okay. I hope my
Sorry to
husband
be the
and
mean guy.
hope my husband and my kids didn't hear that. Okay, so I assume I'm going to put it in drive. They
Two
said.
hands on the wheel.
Oh, come on.
We're very firm on the whole 2 hands on the wheel, 9 and 3.
Okay. Right. Can you tell it's been a while since I took some driving classes?
Yeah, and that's not uncommon. People talk about the bad drivers, but they also come to us and they say, I know I've got some bad habits.
Oh, I have my hazards on. Did you turn them on?
No. So an important thing is to potentially know your vehicle or take a look around and try to find out where those hazards might be so that you turn them off even though we're in a parking lot.
Hazards.
They can be in various spots. I'm used to having them up at the dashboard. There you go.
When I was
We're
texting,
covered up
I
by your
turned the hazards
phone.
on. Okay.
Like I said, one of the things that potentially we go over to is the actual positioning of the two hands, because it's important that they're potentially not 12 and 6, 11 and 5-ish. Sort of the preferred manner is 9 and 3, 10 and 2-ish. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do, I'm just going to have us sort of turn it and come down towards the end of our parking lot here, Michelle.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do without sort of overdoing it, once we get going straight, bring up the speed a little bit, and then I want you to show me that maybe you feel like the car's going a little bit to the left.
Okay.
Okay? With a little bit of gas, too. And now just correct it lightly. And then stop. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, see, what you did there was pretty common, but if we were out on the road, sort of doing 50 kilometers or especially higher, and you felt the car start to go left a little bit, what you really want to make sure that we don't do too much is go too far to the right. You'll pretty much get that car going straight by just asking it to go straight, even though the car was going left. If you get it back to center, it's going to tend to stay center. Wherever you're looking, that's where the vehicle's going to go. That's a basic concept to teach the newer driver. But it's also, in this instance, where you've lost a little bit of control, if you continuously look at where that vehicle's going, you're going right for it instead of making that correction.
I was under the impression, maybe I'm in La La Land, that you're supposed to, if you're really out of control, that you should turn into it.
Yeah, see, and that's a pretty common one. And it depends on people, especially as the newer drivers. If you talk to them about turning into it, the vehicle's already going left, and you tell them to turn into it, they're going to continue to turn left. The car's going to spin right around. So that's an important thing. Probably what you're talking about in terms of turning into is that, right?
Yeah.
Is that your version of turn in?
I guess.
Yeah. But the other thing potentially, Michelle, that people do other than maybe overcorrect is overbrake. So in that situation where they feel the car start to slide to the left, they'll be too harsh on their brake. Then that correction can't happen, potentially, depending on the vehicle, because you've locked up brakes.
All right, so Kevin, get in. This is also ahead on the 5 o'clock show. What, that when they go to a driving school that they are ministry approved?
It's certainly recommended. Usually that's one of the first questions that people will ask anyway, but if not, I certainly do that. Let them know that we are NPO approved. It helps them sort of realize that we have some checks and balances in terms of ministry watching us. Probably the most important thing that we also talk about, Cameron, is it does give them that chance for them to discount. If the driving school isn't MTO approved, then insurance companies are not going to recognize that they've taken it from the program, and then they're not going to qualify for a discount. But here's a good example. You don't have the same traction, right?
No.
So you want to factor that in. Traditionally there, though, if we feel pretty comfortable that they're at 50 and we have good traction, what we're probably looking for there is about 6 car lengths.
6 car lengths when you're pulling out
Okay.
this time of year.
Yeah, well, and maybe even in general, especially for a newer, or especially if we're not sure that they're at the 50 mark. Okay? That's one of the more fundamental ones that gets covered. We're seeing here, hopefully, a sign that recommends about a 30 on a corner, and that's with pavement being dry.
So should I be touching my brake at this
A
point?
little bit of brake. And again, that'll depend on your vehicle, but probably in most it's just a little bit of brake. We're going to go right at our traffic light. Again, a little bit of brake here even on the green.
Still check if anyone's coming, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And do I pull into this lane and then go over?
Absolutely. Especially, now if someone didn't get into that lane because it was heavily snow covered, okay-ish. But in that instance, we certainly had enough time to get into that one and then make a proper lane change, which includes a blind spot check that we're really key on. One of the important things is to always be looking ahead. In the city, what we're shooting for is about 12 to 15 car lengths ahead, if possible, and further. But we're seeing railroad crossings, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, Michelle.
Okay.
Idea as we approach, I already felt you come off the gas a little bit, which is okay. Try not to go for brake, potentially.
Okay, but still, look.
And yeah, as we come up, we're going to make sure that we scan that.
Train time is any time.
Potentially, yeah.
Keep your eyes on the road, Michelle.
We'll go right at the lights. As we approach, about 3 car lengths ahead of time, just coming off your gas a little bit, covering your brake, but potentially not going to it. Well, and obviously we're checking around us in terms of at our sides and our mirrors, but every 6 to 10 seconds, checking our rear mirror, seeing what's happening with people. Anybody that's getting closest to us is something that we have to watch for, especially if we're slowing down or stopping.
Number one mistake drivers make in this weather.
They go too fast. Again, we talked about potentially the 50 mark.
So if the speed limit at this time with this weather is 50, should I still be driving 50 or should I be driving below that?
If it was like this right now, you're probably able to approach that 50. All we have is a little bit of slush cover. Obviously, if we felt like we were going to have to slow down and or stop, then you have to react to that a little bit sooner. Because one of the things that we did go over on the dry pavement, a safe sort of slow down or stop requires us to have 3 seconds, 3 car lengths.
I was under the impression that you cannot turn right on a red light with a green arrow going left. Is that illegal?
Well, we even actually, this is one of the few spots in Peterborough or anywhere that I've seen where they actually put the sign up just to reinforce the fact that with that green arrow that just came up, we can't go. Now, that should almost be a given because there's one lane over here. But you brought up an important point, and we tend to talk about that because it is one of the spots in Peterborough, or just in general, one of the few spots potentially people will actually see that sign. If someone on test did what you sort of talked about and didn't go, that's how they successfully pass. If they turned on the 2-lane system when somebody had the advanced and they still had the red, they consider that a dangerous maneuver and it's an automatic failure on your test. Okay.
Well, I think we've definitely given everyone a little bit to think about. Kevin, I am now the official driver of the 5 o'clock show car.
Awesome.
You're good with that, right?
No.
No.
Oh,
What
sorry.
do you mean?
Other Kevin.
What do you mean you're not okay with that? I'd turn around and look at him, but that would be wrong, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, unless you can catch him in your rear mirror.
I see you, Kevin. I'm driving this car all the time now. And just remember, people, I know we talked about this quickly, but I just want to reiterate to people, texting and driving is no different than drinking and driving, so don't do it. That's my 2 cents. All right, thank you so much to Kevin and the Peterborough Driving School, and safe driving out there, folks. Be safe. Be safe on the roads. All right, Newswatch First at 5:30 is next.